The bank account is frozen, the bills pile up relentlessly, and somehow you're expected to navigate financial decisions while drowning in grief, like trying to read a map in a storm without glasses. If you've recently lost a spouse or want to protect your partner's future, stay with me. Grief creates a fog that clouds judgment when financial clarity matters most. I've seen too many people make devastating mistakes during this vulnerable time. In the coming minutes, I'll share 5 financial pitfalls that have cost grieving spouses thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are the practical warnings no one gives you until it's too late. Sarah stood at the bank counter, grief still fresh in her heart. After 42 years of marriage, her husband was gone, and now she needed to withdraw money for his funeral expenses. The bank representative's words hit her like a physical blow. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Johnson, but your account has been frozen." This happens more often than you might think. When a spouse passes away, financial institutions typically freeze accounts immediately after being notified of the death. Most couples aren't prepared for this reality until they face it directly. Sarah encountered this obstacle at the worst possible moment, when funeral costs, medical bills, and regular household expenses still needed to be paid. The timing is devastating. When you're struggling with the emotional weight of loss, you suddenly can't access the resources you need for practical matters. Many surviving spouses face a cash flow crisis during their most vulnerable time. Banks freeze accounts to fulfill legal obligations that protect estate assets. They follow procedures to prevent fraud and ensure proper distribution according to wills or state laws. The process is procedural, not personal, though that distinction offers little comfort when bills arrive with no funds available. The freeze period varies widely from days to months, depending on the estate's complexity and how quickly you can provide necessary documentation like death certificates and probate papers. Think of this situation like being caught in a financial winter, everything frozen solid when you need resources most. But there's a path through this frozen landscape. With advanced planning, you can create a financial bridge over these icy waters. Consider Robert and Lisa's approach. They maintained a separate emergency account in Lisa's name only. When Robert passed unexpectedly, Lisa had immediate access to funds for the funeral and 3 months of expenses, while their joint accounts were frozen. This emergency fund should cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses, providing breathing room while navigating the estate settlement process, a roadmap through the freezing period. During this transition, keep joint accounts open temporarily to process outstanding checks and automatic payments. Closing these accounts prematurely can lead to bounced checks and damaged credit when financial stability matters most. Individual accounts in your spouse's name will be handled through the estate process, rather than being immediately closed. Meanwhile, prompt notification to banks, credit card companies, and Social Security helps prevent unauthorized transactions and ensures proper handling of benefits. The journey through grief shouldn't be complicated by financial paralysis. With preparation, you can maintain stability during your time of loss. Setting up that separate emergency account now could prevent you from standing where Sarah stood at a bank counter. Tears in your eyes, wondering how you'll pay for essential needs when your shared funds are suddenly inaccessible. Robert sat at his kitchen table, surrounded by paperwork, his grief still raw after losing his wife of 30 years. When the tax bill arrived, he couldn't believe his eyes. By withdrawing money from his wife's IRA to pay off their mortgage, he had accidentally triggered a $15,000 tax bill, money they simply didn't have in their emergency fund. This scenario plays out more often than you might think. In the fog of grief, many surviving spouses make quick decisions about retirement accounts and investments without fully understanding the tax consequences. What seems like a straightforward financial move can trigger unexpected taxes that add financial strain to an already difficult time. Different types of accounts have completely different tax treatments when someone passes away. Making the wrong move can create a financial burden that follows you for years. Robert couldn't sleep for weeks after receiving that bill, wondering how he'd cover basic expenses while paying down this unexpected debt. What if a simple reclassification could save you thousands? This is especially true with retirement accounts. If you inherit your spouse's traditional IRA and withdraw large sums, you'll pay income tax on every dollar. For those under 59.5, an additional 10% early withdrawal penalty applies unless you retitle the deceased spouse's IRA as an inherited IRA instead of doing a spousal rollover. Once you reach 59.5, you can transfer those assets into your own IRA without penalty. The Secure Act of 2019 complicated matters further by changing rules for inherited retirement accounts. While spousal beneficiaries retain more options than other beneficiaries, specific procedures must be followed to avoid penalties. Your tax situation affects your long-term income planning too, particularly with Social Security benefits. If your spouse dies before you reach 70, careful planning becomes essential. Survivor benefits maximize at your full retirement age, 66 or 67, while your own benefits grow until age 70. The timing of which benefit you claim can mean tens of thousands of dollars difference over your lifetime. Filing status offers another opportunity for tax savings. In the year your spouse dies, you can still file jointly. For the following 2 years, you might qualify as a qualifying surviving spouse with dependent child, preserving some joint filing benefits. For assets like homes, understanding the step-up in basis can save significant money. When you inherit property, its tax basis updates to the fair market value on the date of your spouse's death, potentially eliminating capital gains taxes if you sell. In community property states, this applies to the entire property. Robert's story could have ended differently with proper advice. A qualified advisor would have explained that establishing an IRA beneficiary designated account would have avoided that crushing penalty. Taking time to understand these tax implications before making financial moves can prevent adding financial stress to your emotional burden. While paperwork and tax rules may be the last thing on your mind during grief, a brief consultation with a professional can protect your financial future. Tom sat alone in his living room, surrounded by memories of the 35 years he and his wife had shared in their home. His children had been calling daily, insisting he should sell the house immediately and move closer to them. They meant well, but Tom hesitated. That hesitation saved him over $100,000. The family home represents a financial asset and emotional sanctuary after losing a spouse. It holds memories, comfort, and a sense of normalcy during a time when everything feels uncertain. This emotional attachment can lead to rushed decisions with serious financial consequences. Many widows and widowers experience pressure to make immediate housing changes. Adult children worry about their parent living alone. Friends suggest downsizing might be easier. These well-intentioned suggestions create pressure before you're emotionally or financially prepared. Financial advisor Mark Colgan recommends against making major financial changes for at least 6 months to a year after a spouse's death. This waiting period allows grief to process while protecting you from decisions you might later regret, Colgan notes. Studies show that 68% of widows who waited at least 6 months before selling their homes reported greater satisfaction with their decisions. Property ownership becomes complicated after a spouse dies. The implications vary depending on how you held title. Joint tenants with right of survivorship, you automatically own the entire property. Tenants in common, each spouse owns half, potentially requiring probate. Sole ownership by deceased spouse requires probate before retitling. The tax implications are substantial. Most people don't realize they can exclude up to $500,000 of capital gains when selling their primary residence within 2 years of a spouse's death. Rushing a sale can cost tens of thousands in unnecessary taxes. Financial challenges extend to mortgages and home equity loans, which may become immediately due upon death. Additionally, maintaining a home as a single person presents new difficulties. affording ongoing costs on one income and handling physical maintenance previously managed by your spouse. Conversely, some surviving spouses cling to homes that drain their resources. Pride or emotional attachment can lead to financial strain that gradually depletes retirement savings. Financial experts typically recommend waiting 6 to 12 months before making housing decisions unless your situation demands immediate action. This pause gives you time to understand your new financial reality and process grief before making decisions with long-term consequences. During this period, consult with financial advisors who can review your insurance policies, help create a budget, and ensure your investment portfolio remains balanced during transition. Tom ultimately stayed in his home for another year, running his fingers along the familiar hallway where photos chronicled decades of family milestones. This decision allowed him to benefit from tax advantages, sell in a better market, and make his choice from stability rather than grief. The lesson is clear. Patience with housing decisions after losing a spouse pays off financially and emotionally. The road from financial confusion to confidence takes time. With the knowledge we've shared today, you can protect the future your partner would want for you. Mental health experts tell us it often takes about 2 years to fully process loss. Like a sunrise after a long night, clarity eventually emerges. Reach out to financial advisors who understand widows' unique challenges. Groups like Wings for Widows offer specialized coaching services you can access immediately. Give yourself permission to move slowly. Honor your shared life by building a secure tomorrow, one careful step at a time. What experiences or questions do you have? Share below. Stay blessed, my friend.